Hey, Tony Gaskins here, popping in, a little chat. Let's see, maybe I can set this up over here. Wanted to rap with you. I'm trying to walk my back, real stiff, hurt my back, and trying to walk. Y'all see my NYU law. Might be a law student, I might not. No, my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, my sister-in-law. I mean, sometimes I just want to say my sister so I can get a little more credit, make it think it's my bloodline. But my sister-in-law went to NYU Law, graduated from there. So she gave with these hoodies. I'm wearing this so I can burn a little more calories with this sweat. Wanted to pop in though, and I'm using all my free time now to create videos, create a catalog, because I remember what Zig Ziglar did for me. After I got out of the streets and I started trying to change my life, I was listening to Zig Ziglar podcast, and he had hundreds of episodes from speeches and sermons and trainings, and I was able to listen to his stuff for 8 hours a day while I was working. And I learned so much about life, and it helped me. And there was a young lady who wrote the other day. She said, "Tony, I've been listening to you the way you used to listen to Zig Ziglar," and that hit me. And I realized each and every one of us, we have something that we can teach somebody else. And the problem with us as humans is we discount our greatness. And see, greatness is not about arrogance. Greatness is about humility, sacrifice, and service. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. And we discount our greatness and we say, "Who am I?" And the question is, who aren't you? You everything that you need to be. You everything that you need to be. And your story has written itself. And coming after you is somebody who is getting ready to walk the same path or a very similar path as you, and your insight, your wisdom would have changed their life. Because if you could have warned them about the pitfall, the pothole, the roadblock, the detour, the wreck, then guess what? They could have avoided that. And what they would do is, some people, some things you can do for free, and some things there's a price for it. But people will pay you for a roadmap to the treasure pot. If you say, "I got a roadmap to the treasure," who would not pay you for that? And now you can live your life full time, working for yourself, helping other people find the treasure. And that's just a metaphor, not literally saying you have to sell something. But even when I shoot a video, this is content. YouTube is a marketplace where they're in a marketplace of content. So they're not just gonna let this content sit there, because they know this content could change somebody's life. They know this content is gonna have somebody locked in listening. So what do they say? They say, "Listen, we got something for you. Here's the content from this content creator. You can watch it until you can watch it for free with no interruptions until this content creator reaches 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watched hours. And that 4,000 watch hours has to be in a 12-month period. And they say, and then we got to tax you. This YouTube system, not my system, they say, then we got to tax you. And what we finna tax you with is, what they saying is, now this creator has put in time. This creator has toiled. This creator has sacrificed. This creator is committed to the grind. This creator has shown himself or herself approved. They are legit. They are validated, verified. Now they have 1,000 real subscribers, and they have an audience who watch 4,000 or more hours of their content in 1 year. When I say 4,000 watch, I mean, it's not just you watching 4,000 hours, it's everybody watching combined. So if you watch 5 minutes and 799 other people watch 5 minutes, all of y'all together, 5 minutes times 8,000 is 4,000 watch hours. Excuse me if my math wrong, but it sounds good. So we're gonna use that right there. Because 5 times 8 is 40. So, listen. So now, guess what? YouTube says, hey, which is owned by Google. They say, hey, Walmart got somebody for you. They say, They say, look, we got Google, okay? And they say, with Google, they say, we tracking what people searching. So they say, Walmart, guess what? Run some advertisements with us. And what we're gonna do with your advertisements, we're gonna put them under the video of this creator to the people who have been on your site within the last week. So now that cart that they abandoned on your site, we finna serve that up to them for you right up under a video of one of their favorite creators. So now it's a combination between their favorite creator and your product. And it's almost like their favorite creator is stamping your product. Because see, look, I don't believe in tarot reading. I don't believe in tarot reading. I don't believe in psychics. I don't believe in paying nobody for no love or nothing like that. And it's people who have those type of things, pages and courses, they ads will run on my page. I don't stamp that stuff, but YouTube is a marketplace. And they say this how we gonna keep these lights on, this how we gonna keep these servers up, this how we gonna make this money. So even in the business model of what YouTube is doing, they telling you that you worthy. They telling you that whatever you passionate about, you deserve to be able to do it for a living. That's what they telling you. And they telling you, if you bold enough, if you big enough, you bad enough, you bold enough to walk in your purpose, to walk in your calling, we gonna take care of you. Because we gonna take your content and we're gonna show you that content is king. We're gonna take your content and we're gonna push this content out, and we finna get these advertisements and they finna pay us, and then we gonna pay you. And what they say they're gonna do, they're gonna take 45% and they're gonna give you 55%. So guess what? You got to watch with no advertisements until your creator hit 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. Then ads come on. It's still free to you. And then what they say? They say, listen, you want this to be free to you, you gotta either watch, you gotta be okay with watching this advertisement for the length of it, or you got to be okay with waiting until the 4 seconds have shown and then hitting skip ad. You also got to be okay with static ads being placed at the bottom and on the side of it, that it's not a video, it's a flyer, it's a banner, and you could click it or not. That's what they're telling you. So even in the model, what they're telling you is, ain't nothing in life free. You got to give something to get something. You got to sacrifice something to succeed. Sacrifice comes before success, even in the dictionary. This is what they letting you know. And then here's what they do. They say if you have a first class mindset, if you are a VIP line type of person, we got something for you. We call it YouTube Premium. With YouTube Premium, you can watch all your favorite videos with no advertisements interrupting you, because you are a high value person with a high value mindset, and you don't have the time to be interrupted by advertisements, and you don't want to have to look at your phone or at your device and hit skip ad, and you don't want to give up 15, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 60 seconds at a time to up to 20 different ads in a 1 hour video, taken away from your time and your day because you value your time. So here, for a small price of $9.99, $11.99, $12.99, $14.99, for a small price, you have YouTube Premium. And then from you getting YouTube Premium, there is a small percentage of every view from you that's paid to the creator. So when the creator goes to his or her studio, YouTube studio, they see where they was paid from ads. They see where they were paid from YouTube Premium subscribers. They see where they were paid from memberships. They see where they were paid from donations or super chats. And it's all broken down. Computers talking to computers. Algorithm and code set up to deliver, and everything working together. There could be a glitch in the matrix, and we wouldn't be smart enough to know. So every day you go in, it's always something broken. It's always something being worked on. And it says, hey, here's a little red caution sign to let you know that your numbers aren't actually accurate. That the counter is broken right now on your views. The counter is broken on your income. And that little glitch in the matrix could cost millions of dollars to be figured out. We really don't know how much money falls through the cracks, if any. We really don't know. As a creator, we really don't know if we truly getting 55%, because we don't know what's written in the fine print, because nobody really going to read every single letter, every single word of the terms of service. We probably got 5 people on all of YouTube that have read every single letter in the YouTube terms of service to identify and see just exactly what expenses are being taken off the top before they say this is the net that we can pay you 55% from. It's not very clear. And so think about this. This is how the world works. You got a gift. You got a calling. And you sitting on it. You're not pushing it to the max. You got time in the day that you're not using. You're spending some time in the day, and the time you're wasting in the day, you're not giving it to motivation. You're not giving it to inspiration. You're giving it to reality TV shows. somebody came and asked me, Tony, can you give a commentary on Married at First Sight? I don't watch Married at First Sight. I don't watch reality television. I don't watch TV. When the TV on, it's watching me. When the TV is on, I'm still working. Because I only got a little bit of time to be on this here earth. I don't have time to give undivided attention to a reality TV show. Because I got to get closer to my dreams. I got to get closer to my goals. So, in order for me to do what I want to do before I leave earth, to go spend eternity in heaven with my Lord and Savior, I have to occupy my time. I don't have time to watch a reality show and then come and do commentary. And if I do make the time, you know what it'll be? It'll be to also feed my family. But the time that I'm going to lose watching that, to come talk about that, it's all a waste. And the reason why it's a waste is because the people who making the show don't care about you or I. They don't care about your well-being. They programming you to think that because they have doctors and psychologists on the show, that it's okay to get married at first sight. And that's the dumbest thing in the world. And they do that because they're in it for the money. So if I'm talking about this show, I'm sending viewers to this show that is hogwash. That show that I just mentioned actually came and interviewed me. And they had me do a Zoom interview to be one of the experts on the show. They can realize by my answers, I done been around the block a couple times. I'm not money hungry. I'm already blessed. I'm not going to promote and perpetuate a cycle for money and fame like them doctors and psychologists on there, because they know what they pushing is hogwash. They know they could be matching Ted Bundy with an innocent woman, and 5 years from now that woman could be floating in a river because she got married at first sight. They know it's hogwash. It ought to be a petition on change.org to get the mess taken off TV. 90-day fiance. All of that stuff is ignorant. But see, this is the thing. This is what you got to realize. It's a loop. It's a loop. You put on a loop. You put on a loop. Listen what I'm telling you. You in a loop until you realize what's happening. I see black brothers who have went from being nothing to something, who have gone from zero net worth to making millions of dollars. And you know what my brothers do on YouTube? Some of the brothers I watch, they argue with each other. They attack each other. They degrade each other. They break each other down. They tear each other down. They gain clout off of criticizing others. They gain clout off of beefing with others, instead of taking their YouTube channel and making their YouTube channel their own academy where they teach from their knowledge without damaging other people's business and damaging other people's brand, but teaching how they went from where they started to where they are. But see, it's a loop. Because if you can be kept in the weeds, then you can never fully blossom. Because if the weeds are choking out your gift, then you cannot be fruitful. So you put in this loop. And I'm going to tell you something I've noticed, and don't take offense to this. I'm going to tell you something I've noticed. And this is an honest assessment. This is a very honest assessment. And it's going to be hard to hear because of the programming that you may be under. But do you realize that school is a part of the loop. One thing I noticed is that I can earn a living using my mind and using my natural gifts. Do you know that when I talk to any degree holding person, and especially someone with an advanced degree, that when we talk entrepreneurship, when I look at what they have, I can lay out an entire plan for their business and their brand. And I'm seeing stuff that never crossed their mind. You know why? Because their brain has been put on a loop. They've been put in a system that says, study this book, this finite knowledge on a topic that has nothing to do with your life's success. And remember this finite knowledge and then take a test on it. So what it does is it puts their brain in a box. But they're taking a test on American history. They're taking a test on world geography. They're taking a test on human anatomy. And so they have this knowledge, but that knowledge does not equate to a 401k. That knowledge does not equate to living your purpose. That knowledge does not equate to earning millions of dollars or billions of dollars to create generational wealth. What that knowledge equates to is a piece of paper that says you have graduated the loop. But now your brain is on a loop. So those who are free thinkers, who have created the Fortune 500 company for you to go work for, the creator of the Fortune 500 company brain is not on a loop. So he or she was able to think boundlessly and create a company that can hire rats in a maze. And so the company is breaking barriers and becoming boundless, i.e. Amazon. Becoming boundless, but the creator of Amazon, his brain is not in a loop. It's thinking infinitely. But look at the Amazon warehouse workers. Look at the workers in the company. Their brain is on a loop. So instead of them leaving the company and creating Horizon to compete with Amazon, they continue to work in Amazon. You see, this is what happens when we don't tap into our natural gifts. My sister wrote me today and she said, hey, well now, your niece saying she don't want to go to college. She want to be a real estate agent, or she want to be an esthetician. Do you know there's realtors making millions of dollars with no college degree? There's realtors who make six figures, get on YouTube, teach about real estate and make millions. Their brain is not in a loop. There are people who will go to college and allow that to trap their mind. And then a lot of people, 3 out of 4 people, get a degree and then go work in a different field. A lot of people go get a degree, work in their field for a few years, they're drained, tired, and exhausted because it feels purposeless. See, you got the opportunity to avoid that. You can go to college. A lot of y'all already went to college. You could be in college, but you got to make sure that you are in college and that college is not in you. That you are doing college and college is not doing you. That your brain, your creativity is not being cut off. I got a son who is a straight A student, no A minuses. I was talking to him the other day. I said, son, he like to eat. He's a foodie. I say, son, man, you could do a YouTube traveling the world. Traveling the world, I'll support you. I'll invest in this. You travel the world to the dopest restaurants, the dopest food spots, the dopest thing in the world, but also incorporate Workout with Tony. So on your channel, y'all doing a killer workout in the morning. That's your morning video because you're an athlete, and he may become a college athlete or even a pro athlete. But after that, because he has a passion for food, because he is allergic to almost everything. So now that he's growing a little bit out of his allergies, he's now able to taste cheese. He can eat a little cheese. He can eat a little egg now, a little dairy. So now his palate is open and he's like, wow. But because he had to just eat meat and vegetable for so many years, when he tastes something, he can list out every flavor that's in it because his taste bud's so sensitive to it. And he is very smart, so he can articulate the texture and the feel, the crunch, the density, whatever it is he needs to describe, he can describe it as he's chewing it. And I'm like, son, that's a gift. That's a gift. I'm like, I see this man on YouTube who he go around the world. And every video getting millions of views. I'm on YouTube, I'm not getting millions of views on every video, and I know what YouTube paid me. So I know this man probably touching at least $1 million a year, could be touching $5 million a year on his channel where he going around the world tasting his food. So listen, because my son was like, well, Dad, you know, I'm gonna gain a lot of weight if I'm doing that. And I said, no, you ain't. You incorporate Workout with Tony. So you helping people understand that, hey, if you love to eat, you need to love to work out. He said, Dad, how you think of this stuff? He was like, man, he's like, you always come up with these ideas and you just hit me with these ideas. He was like, my mind could never think of that. You know what I realized in that moment? His brain is on a loop. Because all he doing in school is studying, remembering, and regurgitating. It's no creative learning. It's nothing that's really creative. So he's sitting there and he learning stuff that he will never use again. Now, of course, you got to go through it. You got to go through school. You got to get an education. But guess what you can't do? You cannot forego getting self-education. It was Jim Rohn who I heard say, formal education. This Jim Rohn quote, not mine. He didn't have a college degree, neither did Zig Ziglar. See, these are my mentors. And I ain't knocking y'all with college, but see, this is the thing. If you get mad about the truth I'm telling you, that lets you know your brain is on the loop. Because you upset and you defending somebody else's system over your purpose. A system that was put in place by man to benefit society, to benefit capitalism, it was not put in place by God. God did not have a school. God gave you a gift so that you could eat from the land and so that you could live from the land. Man-made universities, man-made elementary, middle school, and high school, because they need to train rats in a maze to work in the companies created by the 1%. So they need the 99% to be on a loop to work for the 1% who are boundless. Listen to what I'm telling you and get your feelings out of this, because you've been indoctrinated by your broke-minded parents. And this is what I have to tell my wife. Her father is a lawyer. Her sister is a lawyer. Her auntie is a big-time accountant. I make more money than all of them combined because my mind is boundless. I remember her aunt asked me, Tony, are you going to go get a degree? I say, at this point, no, because I've realized what that's about. There's no single degree that will earn me more than my mind has earned me being boundless. No degree. No degree. With what I'm doing and the businesses I've created, I can earn more than a plastic surgeon, more than a brain surgeon. And you know what? I can reach millions of people instead of one person at a time. See, what I'm asking you is to become boundless. To become boundless. To think outside of the box. To take your degree, take your education, but strip it off of you and don't let it confine you. Don't let it pigeonhole you and think beyond that. So I realized my son's mind is in a loop. Guess what? My wife has a master's degree. She had like maybe 2 business ideas. But because of studying 8 hours a day, and then in her master's studying sometimes 16 hours in a day, it stole her creativity. So she has no entrepreneurial or business ideas that she cares to activate right now. And now she's studying more because we're sending our kids through school. So there's no ingenuity. There's no creativity. And this is what I'm seeing, what I have noticed with a lot of degree holders. And what it's doing is, it's limiting society. Because guess what? Some of the greatest minds will be minds that were born in adversity. But if you are told as a minority that your only way to make it out is through a college degree, then you go put your mind in the simulation. You go put your mind in the loop. And then you looped in, and now you are trapped climbing the corporate ladder, being an amazing corporate slave on a boundless mind's plantation. I know that's offensive. I know that hurts you. What I need you to understand is that I'm not against formal education. What I'm for is self-education. Do not get a formal education and fail to get self-education. That's what I'm telling you. Don't twist my words. Hear what I'm telling you. Do not get a formal education and fail to get self-education. I went to college from 2002 to 2010. 8 years. And I did not get a bachelor's. You know why? Because the classroom did not inspire me. The classroom did not impress me. The question came to me, what am I doing? What am I learning? How is this going to help me in my life? My family is struggling from poverty. What is this going to do for me? It's going to keep me in corporate. It's going to get me a job. But what did somebody say job stands for? Just over broke. Let me ask you this. Is your earning potential boundless? You can have a bachelor's degree today. You can have a master's degree today. You can have a PhD today. Check your bank account. Check your bank account. We're not going back and forth. I just want you to look at the proof in the pudding. Check your bank account and ask yourself, is my account boundless? Is my account infinite? Because guess what? LeBron James' account is boundless right now. And you know what he's using? A natural gift from his creator, not a formal education. So I want you to understand, take your formal education and take the assets from it. Because see, what a formal education will teach you, it will teach you time management. In some cases, because a lot of times we procrastinate to right before the test and then we study. It should teach you time management. It should teach you study skills. It should teach you, in certain classes, critical thinking. And so this is what this is doing for you. It should teach you how to start and how to finish. But let me ask you, in the process, did it steal your ingenuity? Did it steal your creativity? Did it steal your zeal? Did it steal your will to win? Let me ask you another question. Is the degree for you, or is it for man? Is it for those to look upon you and say, oh, you completed something, you're successful? Does it translate into money that will create generational wealth? Or is it just enough for you to live and maybe a little over to take care of some kids, and hopefully, after working faithfully for that company, you can retire with a 401k that hopefully will last you the rest of your life, and maybe have a life insurance policy that your kids could cash in when God calls you home? Now ask yourself this question. If that is my path that I walk, elementary, middle school, high school, college, some of you advanced degrees, from there to work on somebody else's job, Google the founder of the company that you work for and read his or her bio. And then ask yourself, whose thinking is more boundless, yours or theirs? Look at the person who created the company you work for and ask yourself, is he or she any more special than me? And ask yourself, are they so very equipped? Because guess what? It's not about sheer talent. It's about a will to win. Because Elon Musk is not building Tesla. He is the boundless thinker. But the mechanical engineers who went to university and got a degree, they cannot think of Tesla, but they know how to build an electric car. So their thinking is like a rat on a wheel. And Elon Musk is the one who created the cage and the wheel. So what he can do is, because he knows this rat will run, he can create a roller coaster for the rat to run. He can create a maze for the rat to run. He can create a whole universe for the rat to run and explore, but never think to say, let me get out of this maze and go create my own world. Now see, this is what I want you to understand. There will be bosses and there will be workers. But what it should be is, it should be a revolving door. When I was in college, I was in an Africana studies class. And he went around the room and he asked everybody, what do you want to be? And everybody would say what they wanted to be. And when it came to me, I said, I want to be a police officer, a lawyer, and a doctor. And everybody started laughing. And he said, everybody's laughing, but honestly, the average career only lasts 4 years. So if Tony really wanted to do that, he could do all of those things in a lifetime. So guess what? At the time, I was interested. I'm like, I don't want to do one thing the rest of my life. I know people who go to school for 12 to 18 years, become a doctor or become a surgeon, work in the field 5 years, and then retire. And they were on that path because a parent told them, this is your only way. I've seen people go work and make 6 figures in corporate, leave corporate and go make 7 figures as an entrepreneur. And what it was is, they didn't just get formal education, they got self-education. and they didn't let the corporate job have them. See, you should have a job, but don't let the job have you. Because here's the thing. Every human is created for an intentional purpose. So I always hear the argument, well, Tony, somebody got to do the work. Well, see, this is the thing. If I come through corporate and I work 5 years, I work 4 years while you're in 4 years of college. When I leave, the job is open for you. You do 4 years and you leave. And somebody comes after you do 4 years and they leave. So while you're doing 4 years of college, I'm doing 4 years on the job. Then when you graduate college, you do 4 years on the job, I've left. You see what I mean? So it's not to say that some people do not deserve to own their own brand, to own their own company. Because if you love your career, if you love your job, more power to you. But what you also should do is create something on the side that you cannot be fired from. Because listen, you can't pass a job to your kids. You can pass a company that you own to your kids. So let's say this. Let's say you work in corporate and you make amazing money. Let's say you make, I'm going to use my sister-in-law from NYU Law as an example. She is an amazing artist. She can draw the most beautiful art. But as a lawyer, she's set up to make great money. But she doesn't need all the money. So to work for her law firm, which is one of the top in the world, you have to have a pedigree. You gotta be accomplished. You don't graduate. See, NYU Law, this is a top 5, top 6 law school. So you graduate from somewhere like this, you in line for work for this top 5 firm in the world, not in the country, in the world. You in line for that. But guess what? As you climb and you earn, if you don't need all that money and you're an amazing artist, what you can do is find one little hole in the wall building. One little hole in the wall building. And in this building, you rent it out. Because if you make $10,000 a month, and this building is $1,500 a month, you got it. If you make $20,000 a month, and this building $2,500 a month, you got it. So guess what? Now you put your gift in that building. And this money is play money. This money you will spend at the bar drinking. This money you will spend on Chanel purses. This money you will spend on fancy cars. But this is money now that you're giving back to your gift. Guess what could be passed down to your child? Your position at a law firm or your building with your art. And then you can take this building and your love for art and you can put up a billboard, you can put up a flyer calling all independent artists. Submit your work. And now your building is being rented out for $500 a night for artists to showcase their art to all of their co-workers, all of their classmates, and all of their family. And in your building, you have a cash bar where a person can come and buy a mixed drink, red wine, white wine, and they walk around and they're looking at their friend or their brother or their sister or their cousin's art. $500 a night, times 7, $3,500 a week. It may take you a year to build to that point, but your formal education with your corporate income allowed you to invest into that. The next thing you know, you're making $14,000 a month from your little art studio. And it costs you $5,000 a month, $7,000 a month. You're winning. You're winning. So I just gave you an idea of how you can be in corporate, but yet still do you. And when you do you, because see, I was in corporate, we'll call it corporate, right? We'll call it corporate. But I don't know if you call this really corporate, but we'll call it corporate. And let me ask y'all something. Stop commenting in the comments about stuff that have nothing to do with the overall message of the video. People comment stuff like, yeah, Tony, you should walk on incline, or this or that, or you should do this for your back. You should do that. Listen, it have nothing to do with the video. Let's stay focused on what the video about, so that you're not being a distraction in the comments, because some people have ADD and some people have ADHD. So when they read a comment that have nothing to do with the purpose of the video, their mind goes somewhere totally different. And they miss the whole message, and they may click off the video because your comment sent them on down a rabbit hole. So don't be a distraction. If you're gonna comment, add to this here message. So let me tell you what I did. I was working corporate. I'm working for a multi-million-dollar nonprofit. And what this nonprofit does is they open up homes. They rent out homes, and they get mentally disabled adult men, and they put them in the home, 6 men to a home. And then they hire staff, 1 to 3 staff per shift. And they got 3 shifts. And for the 6 men, they may get, some of them are getting $10,000 a month. So this home is producing $60,000 a month. And then with the staff, they will have let's say 8 staff. 8 staff, we on average getting paid $2,000 a month each. So you got $16,000 going to staff. If you want to stretch it, we'll say 24. I'm working 5 days a week, me and this person I'm on shift with. So we covering 5 of those days, one of the shifts. The other shift is 1 person, the other shift is 1 person. So in the course of a day, there's 4 staff working. So we have about 4 staff, and then you got 2 days, because everybody got 2 days off. So for them 2 days, you got another, 2 of them days you don't need the daytime staff, because that's the work staff. So you got 2 staff, 3 staff, you got another 6 staff. So, no you don't, 2, 3. 3 staff, I mean. So look, 7 staff. We said 8, but it's 7 staff, 14,000. 14,000 a month, the house bringing in 60,000. Guess what? The man who started the nonprofit organization never heard of his degree. Never heard of his degree. A lot of the people working at the bottom, no degree. The people working in the middle, making it happen, they got degrees. They inside of his system though. He never showed up, he never came. He got a woman with a master's degree, going on a doctorate degree to run the whole show. She working for him. This is what I did when I was on corporate. I'm working 40 hours a week. I got a dream, I got a vision. So while I'm working 40 hours a week, I go to their job and I put a headphone in. 1 headphone in, 1 headphone out. And I'm listening to Zig Ziglar for the whole 8 hours. And sometimes Zig Ziglar will mention somebody else like Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn. I would listen to them. So I'm listening 8 hours a day. I'm getting knowledge, I'm getting insight, I'm getting wisdom. I'm hearing personal experience, going through all of these things, right? So then, I'm doing this 8 hours a day. I work from 3:30 to 11:30. I would come home, get home at midnight. I take me a shower. I'm out the shower 12:30. My wife's still up. We kicking it, we talking. We stay up maybe 2 o'clock, sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning. And then we go to sleep. We sleep from 3 o'clock to maybe 9 o'clock. Sometimes we'll sleep to 12. I would get up at 9 and I would go and I would start working on my business. I'll be writing my book. I'm writing my book. After I wrote my book, I'm online pitching myself to media. Then later, I'm online and I'm scheduling tweets. I'm setting up my tweets. I'm setting up my social media posts. And I do that from noon to 3 p.m., leave the house at 3, go to work 3:30. 3:30, I'm at the job. Every hour on the hour, I would pull out my phone and I would send a tweet, send a motivational quote. Something that's on my spirit, a quote from something I learned right there, listening to Zig Ziglar. I send a quote, boom, every hour on the hour. This is what I'm doing. I worked this job for 4 years and 10 months. 2006. May 2006 started the job. February 2007, I published my first book. Then 2008, I published my second book. I'm Facebooking and MySpacing. I'm marketing myself every day. Facebook and MySpace. I'm adding friends. I'm sending messages about my book. 2009, March 19, 2009, I go on Oprah Winfrey and I tell my story about being a toxic, controlling boyfriend in college. An incident me and my ex-girlfriend had in the college dorm room. I tell that story. I get off the show, my wife is up there with me. At this time, I'm an author of 2 books, but I'm working at the group home for $9.50 an hour. I'm 25 years old. I go back home, I got to go back to work. After going on Oprah and telling my story, I go back to making $9.50 an hour. My friend, I'm in the limo with my wife in Chicago, leaving the Oprah set, and I sent a message to the producer of Tyra Banks, because I had been pitching myself to them every day, and they was calling me for these different circus monkey shows, and I'm like, no, I'm not a circus monkey. I'm not trying to be famous. I'm trying to be significant. So I gotta come on a show that makes sense, that relate to my story. So I had to turn them down 2 or 3 show ideas. I emailed him after Oprah. He said, yes, Tony, I saw you and you were amazing. He said, we want you to come on the Tyra Banks show. This was a Thursday. He said, we want you in New York next Tuesday with your book in hand. Because Oprah didn't mention my book. She didn't say nothing about my book. I ain't get to show my book. But he know Tyra Banks is not Oprah. So they got a little more leeway. So they fly me up to New York. I'm 25 years old. No media training. No mentee. No assistant. No team. This is the lie. That a lot of y'all, you trying to be so big that you stuck being little. And you can't get ahead and you can't make money because you want to look like a boss instead of really being a boss. So you want to have all this, you want to have an assistant, you want to have a manager, you want to have a whole team, you want to do all of this, and you get in over your head. You're doing too much. You're building your company, you're building your brand. For the most part, you can build it by yourself until you get to a point that you're making enough money alone that you can afford to give some of your money to somebody else. Just this year, I hired an assistant for $450 a week. So I'm paying her $1,800 a month. That's what I used to get paid at the group home. That may not be her forever job, or she may stay there for a while, and I may be able to increase her over time to where eventually she becomes a brand manager and making 6 figures. If she say, hey, this was fun, had a great time doing this, but I got a better opportunity, I got another job, I don't see the purpose in this job, I love what you're doing, but it's not purposeful enough for me, I want to go be a speaker, I want to go be a coach. If she said I wouldn't be mad at all. I wouldn't be mad at all. Because what she's doing don't make me, nor does it break me. It helps me, but I was doing all of this alone, so I could do it alone again at the level that I'm at. And people would always come to me, they would say, who run your social media? I said, I run my social media. Huh? You run your social media? You sending all those tweets? I said, yeah, I'm doing it. That's the thing that we have lost in this society. So here we go. I go to Tyra Banks. So this probably Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So this 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. March 24th, 2009, I go record Tyra Banks. I'm sitting in the back in the green room. This lady come in. She's a black lady. She probably 2 or 3 times my size. And so she was intimidating me. And she said, come on, well, let's rehearse what you're gonna say. I said, I don't rehearse what I'm gonna say. I said, I can't rehearse. I'm not staged. I'm not. She was like, come on, you got to say what you're gonna say. This is Tyra Banks. This is not Oprah. We are lively. Come on, Tony. I was like, I really can't say what I'm gonna say. I really don't know what I'm gonna say. So they did not know what I was gonna say. So when they were gonna bring me up earlier in the show, the producer pushed me to the last 30 seconds of the show because they wanted to have enough content that if they needed to cut me out, they could cut me out and still have a show and not have me dead smack in the middle of the show and the show be messed up if I said something crazy. And so while I'm in the back, Steve Harvey is at Tyra Banks and he is recording his show, The Irony. Because I wrote my book in 2007, he wrote his in 2009. So he's doing his book circuit on the media. His book has the 90-day rule. I created the 90-day rule in 2007. That was God kind of just tickling me, say, hey, don't worry about it, your time is coming. Because when you at a certain point where people know your name, but you're not a household name, the bigger brands, their team, their producers, it wasn't Steve who did it, it was his ghostwriter who did it. They just steal from the smaller people who got good content. They'll steal from you. And so you got to be used to that. You got to be all right with it. Your time gonna come. And then you can tell your full story. And so I go out there, they record the show. When they put the camera on me, they didn't understand the Holy Spirit. They don't know what the Holy Spirit is. So they put the camera on me and Tyra Banks say, so Tony, tell us your story. And I say something, it's the Holy Spirit talking, I can't remember what I said. And the crowd just started clapping. The crowd clapping. And Tyra Banks, she say, preach, preacher. I didn't know what I said. And after that, I was like, okay. Because they had a doctor beside me. And when they had the doctor talk, the crowd didn't do nothing. Tyra didn't say preacher. But after I spoke, after the Holy Spirit spoke, because I can't tell you today what I said. Them people got a lesson today on the Holy Spirit. Because see, I'm an introvert and I'm quiet and I'm shy. I'm not a TV person. That's why I done a Zoom interview for so many TV shows and I never get it because I'm not a rehearser. I'm not fake. This whole message is off the top of my dome as I'm talking to you from the heart. See, God got to be in charge of that. God got to be in charge of that to give you a message without a bunch of ums and ands and right and like every other word. It has to be God. And so I go back home after recording Tyra Banks. I get online, go to TBN, Trinity Broadcasting Network, and I pitch myself to the Trinity Broadcasting Network. Uh-oh, I might be late for my call. I ain't got no clock in here. And I'm still at work. So now I'm at work and I done pitched myself. It might be about 1:30. I got to coach a client in London. Ironically, there's been a lot of people from London that's been signing up for coaching. God bless y'all. I thank y'all. It's kind of humbling for me to be coaching somebody on another continent who 5 hours ahead of me. God bless y'all. And if you're watching this and I'm a little late for our call, forgive me. And I get back home and I'm still at $9.50 an hour. So here I am, $9.50 an hour. You know what I see people doing today? They want to look big, so they will quit their job and sleep on their mama couch and sell a dream to social media that they a big deal because they went on Oprah and they went on Tyra Banks, and then I went on the 700 Club in June. Tyra aired the show probably April. Oprah was live March, April, and then 700 Club was May or June. and 3 globally televised shows with no publicist. I pitched myself. I trained myself, no media training, no assistant. I flew to New York alone. I flew to Chicago with my wife because they paid for me and her to come up there. Tyra, 700 Club, they flew from Virginia to our home, to our apartment at that time in Florida, and they recorded me, and they told my street story of when I was hustling. And they mentioned my other book, Reclaiming Our Youth, which was a book to help the youth identify their purpose, identify their gifts, and market themselves. I took it off the market. I'll re-release it one day because it was published through a internet publisher. And when I found out what they publishing name mean, I ain't like it. It was kind of weird. And so I took that book off the market. And here I am, this 2009. After I leave Tyra, my friend tell me, he say, hey, man, you ought to get on this thing called Twitter. So when I say I was tweeting at work, that didn't start until I started the job 2006. I ain't started tweeting in 2009. March 25th is when you go on my Twitter page. If you got a Twitter, when you follow me on there, you'll see it say I've been on this on March 25th. I filmed Tyra March 24th. My friend told me, you doing these fun, cool things, get on this thing called Twitter. Twitter was 2 years old. I got on Twitter March 25th. In 2010, my Twitter started to grow because I tweeted Alicia Keys. Go on Instagram right now, DM Alicia Keys for me. I don't like to ask people to do nothing. Say, hey, thank you for retweeting at Tony Gaskins in 2010 because it changed his life and his videos have done, if it's done anything for you. We got to give people their flowers. Go thank Alicia Keys for that. She later unfollowed me because when she got with Swizz Beatz, I had to comment on it. I had to talk about it. I wasn't in agreement with what Swizz Beatz did to Mashonda. I didn't appreciate that. I didn't respect that. I don't respect that as a man. I ain't got nothing against Alicia. I ain't got nothing against Swizz. I know he's human, but I didn't appreciate that. If you marry a woman and you give her commitment for life, if that woman don't cheat on you, maybe she cheated on him. Maybe she disrespected him. But if she don't cheat on you and she ain't disrespecting you, you can't just leave her just because you wake up and you see a woman that make millions of dollars and an 8-time Grammy winner like Alicia Keys. Because guess what? Whoever was running Alicia Keys' page, you know, I could have shot my shot in the DM. And as a married man, because she wasn't with Swizz Beatz when she started following me, I could have shot my shot. It was so many celebrities, women that came and started following me online. I just did 3.3 miles in 1 hour. I was on 3 miles an hour. And I went longer than I was gonna go. But I could have shot my shot. I ain't leave my wife. So I don't respect when men just check out on their wife who was there for them when they was nothing. And so that upset me. God bless you, forgive me, Swizz Beatz. If I'm stepping on your toe, forgive me. But I just don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate that. Now, if it's stuff that happened and they just didn't want to expose the person for what they did, okay, I get that. I get that. But a lot of times, that's not the case. A lot of times, the woman ain't do nothing in a lot of cases. So listen to me. 2010, Alicia Keys retweeted me. So I think when she retweeted me, I think I had about 200 followers. After she retweeted me, I quickly got up to about 2,500 followers. And then every day I started getting like 100 new followers on Twitter. So my brand started to grow. This probably was in the 2009 she retweeted me. And then 2010, Black Web 2.0, it was a site. I don't think it exists no more. They ranked the top 100 most powerful black men on Twitter. I was working a job in 2010, making $9.50 an hour, and they ranked me the 25th most powerful black man on Twitter. Number 1 was LeBron James. Number 26 was the comedian Lil Duval. Lil Duval page on Twitter has always been viral. They ranked me higher than him. And, he could have been lower. But look, I'm at number 25, and I'm not a celebrity. I'm making $20,000 a year. Ranked number 25. You know how they got the ranking? It was websites that would rate us based on our retweetability, based on our retweets in relation to how many followers we have. So if somebody have 500,000 followers and they send a tweet and they get 500 retweets, but I got 50,000 followers and I send a tweet and I get 500 retweets, my page is way more powerful than that page that has 500,000 followers. So that's what happened. I was getting like 800 retweets. I remember one of the guys who knew me, he said, I wonder what Tony Gaskin's mentions look like. I wonder how many retweets Tony Gaskin get. And people just was in awe with the amount of retweets I was getting. And it really was because I had a unique style. I was kind of tweeting wisdom in poetry. And so in 2010, while I'm making $9.50 an hour, I'm using a marketing tactic that I think I teach in my social media course on Tony Gaskin's Academy. I'm using a tactic, and I'm in the DM with this young lady, and I'm telling her thank you for supporting me. And she said, hey, I would like to introduce you to my aunt. She's a health consultant for the NBA and the NFL. And I say, hey, let's set up that call. I'm at work at the group home. My clients need 24-hour supervision because they could get dangerous. I leave them in the home by themselves and maybe with one other staff if the staff was there. If not, I left them in there by themselves. I step out the back of the house and I get on a three-way call with this lady. She sounds like an old country grandma. She tell the NBA, NBPA, that stands for National Basketball Players Association. She tell the executive director's assistant about me. A little while later, for some reason, I'm in New York. And I can't remember what I was in New York for. It could have been a reality show or something that come from Twitter. It could have been some kind of meeting with a company, a production company. I think it was a production company I was meeting with that I met that found me on Twitter or that I pitched to from Twitter. And so I'm up there and I'm at Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady from my hometown. I'm at his skyrise condo in, I think, of White Plains, New York. He was on the New York Knicks right then. And so I'm at his place and I'm on the phone call with the assistant from the Players Association and the lady who told him about me. And they offered me $2,500 to speak to the top 100 high school basketball players. I'm making $1,800 a month at this time. They offered me $2,500 to speak for 20 minutes. Because I had a picture with Oprah on my Twitter, they thought maybe I was a millionaire because they thought Oprah promoted my book. I didn't correct anybody on that. I was balancing the dream with the job until the dream became the job. I did that engagement for $2,500. They paid me. Then a lady wrote me and offered me $1,500 to speak at her church relationship retreat. $1,500 for 30 minutes. I accepted that gig. These gigs was back to back in 2010. I got these gigs and these people had never heard me speak. I wasn't on YouTube in 2010. They had never heard me speak. They literally booked me because of my tweets and because my bio said author, life coach, speaker. They had never heard me speak. I made $4,000 for 50 minutes worth of work in 2010. In 2011, my friend who told me to get on Twitter, he came to me and he said, what is it going to take for you to go to the next level? I said, I need to get off this job for at least 1 year. If I get off this job for a year, my life will never be the same. He said, how much you make? I said, in 2010, I made $20,000. My W-2 said $19,900. He said, I'll give you $20,000 for 20% of your company. He saw me go on Oprah. He saw me go on Tyra. He saw me go on the 700 Club. He saw Alicia Keys following me. He saw Missy Elliott following me. He saw P. Diddy retweeting me. He saw Real Run retweeting me. He saw his favorite artist retweeting me. This a white guy, but he loved black music. And E40 started following me. He saw that. He loved E40. So to him, I'm building a multi-million-dollar brand, but at this time I'm making $20,000. He has generational wealth. His family is a family of billionaires. He come to me and he offered me the $20,000. I knew I was a little ghetto and I need to splurge a little bit, so I said, let's make it 35. I needed 15 to move out the apartment to move into me a house. He said, all right, we'll do $35,000 for 35%. I said, okay, cool, boom. He sent me $2,000 because I was getting a book proposal made for my book, Mrs. Right. I was getting a book proposal made from a lady. I had met a literary agent. She saw my brand. She saw what I was doing. She was interested in representing me. She said, you need a book proposal. I hired somebody to do a book proposal for me. It was like $1,500. So he shot me $2,000 through like PayPal. And then he sent me a check for $33,000. I still got the picture of the check on my phone. And I put my 2 weeks notice in on my job. My birthday was March 8th, 2011. I turned 27 years old. On March 13th, it was my last day on my job. And then I entered into full-time entrepreneurship. I blew through that $35,000 really quick, moving my family out of apartment into a gated neighborhood, 3-bedroom house on the lake. And our rent went up from $935 a month to $1,550 a month. Didn't know how I was gonna pay it. My friend kept blessing me. He kept blessing me. He kept supporting me. He was there for me. He'll send me investment to shoot a documentary. Sent me investment to shoot another documentary. Sent me investment to shoot a pilot for a reality show. Then he'll just send me personal loans. He'll send me personal loans. I'm sharing this story, and I never share this story. I never share this story, but it proves the book Outlier by Malcolm Gladwell to be true. None of us are just self-made. Everybody has some type of unique advantage that they come in contact with at some point in their life. And a lot of times people, I tell the story in private settings and on my courses and stuff, but I don't tell it publicly. But a lot of times people won't tell you about the earth angels. People won't tell you about those things that happen in their life. People won't tell you that daddy gave them like Donald Trump say, a small loan of $1 million. It's like, well, since when that's been a small loan, Donald? But people won't tell you about what really helped them get there. And so now, granted, the money he gave me never made me any money, because none of the documentaries made me any money and none of the personal loans made me any money. But what it did is it floated me so that I didn't have to worry about money, so that I could work stress-free. And so that's why I'm telling you, use your corporate job for that. I only made $20,000 a year. Some of y'all make $100,000. Some of y'all make $150,000. You don't need all that money to live. So if you make $100,000, you ought to be able to live off $30,000, $50,000, and put up $50,000 if you coming home with $100K. I was living off $20,000 as a grown man, as a father and a husband. And so I need you to understand that you don't need an investor if you already done went the corporate route and you making over $50,000. You making $75,000 or more. You can fund yourself. And that's what Ava DuVernay did. She made good money as a publicist. She took and funded her first film, $50,000, put it in Sundance, won Best Director, and that changed her life. A few years later, she is the director of a $100 million movie. She invested $50K out of her own pocket. We don't know if it was savings or if it was a combination of credit cards. We don't know what it was, but she made the investment. You see what I'm saying? And so balance the dream with the job until the dream become the job. And so here I was in like 2011. I left my job in 2012. In 2011 or 2012, I remember adding up my income. It was $147,000. My income, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 750% increase. 750% increase by using my natural gifts. This was a combination. When my mind was free to think, when I was out of the loop, I used all my gifts. So I charged for everything that I could possibly charge for. One-on-one coaching, live speaking, group coaching through group online courses, ghostwriting, author consulting, sponsored tweets. I just took you through 6 streams of income. I charge for everything. Because now I got to make a living off of me. See, God then gave you the ability to make a living off of you. And that's what you got to understand. And so from there, I started to create. 2010, I did my first online course. It was a group course taught by teleconference. And then after that, I continued to go And then eventually I got online with the online courses. So now you see TonyGastonAcademy.com. TonyGastonAcademy.com has earned 7 figures. That's all courses from my mind. That's all courses from my mindset. That's not courses, that's not school. I got 35,000 students in TonyGastonAcademy.com. My college that I went to had 45,000 students. And it's an institution that's been around for decades and decades and decades. And I'm 10,000 students behind what they have at their school. And they school from multiple campuses, but they got to pay for all of them buildings. They got to pay for all of that staff. They got to pay for all of that. So out of they 45,000 students, that ain't all profit. God told me you could create something that's digital, that's online. You know what I pay for that online system? I paid $99 a month with 35,000 students. But that come from here. And I say that to say, I got to fix that right there. I say that to say, this is what will happen when you use your mind and you get outside of the loop and you start to think. You start to think about what you can do, what you can create using your gift. So guess what? These courses, Entrepreneurship University, Entrepreneurship with Purpose. It's going to teach you a lot. It's going to teach you the whole way to build like I built. Social Media Mastery. It's going to teach you a lot. The Birth Your Book course. It's going to teach you how to publish a book like I did. Everything I have done, I've put it in a course to help somebody else. And that is right there, one hand washing the other. You blessing me for me toiling and getting the knowledge and me producing and giving you social proof, showing you that this can be done. So you blessing me by buying my course, and I'm blessing you by not succeeding alone and instead sharing the game with you for a very minimal fee. And so you see what I'm saying? So guess what? You look different than me. You look different than me. You sound different than me. See that art on the wall? That's one of the people who follow me online sent me that. That's my quote. They say, if you don't build your dream, someone will hire you to build theirs. That's my quote. I created that quote pulling up to the group home. I was sitting in a C240 Benz that I went and bought to stretch my mind. Little cheap, raggedy Benz. But I need to stretch my mind to another level of living. And sitting in front of that job, I wrote that quote. If you don't build your dream, someone will hire you to help build theirs. One of my supporters on Twitter painted that for me. She got that kind of talent to paint. Imagine what her art could be making her. Imagine what her art may be making her. I think her art make her money. Imagine her art gallery that I just mentioned upstairs when I was walking on the treadmill. You see what I'm saying? Everybody got a gift. Even if your gift is talking, even if your gift is listening, even if your gift is cleaning, everybody has a gift. God created you with a gift so that you wouldn't have to depend on nobody's job. He created you with a gift, but you got to get your mind out of the loop so that you could create what you call to create. People say everybody can't be an entrepreneur. That's a lie. Because we all could buy from each other. We all could buy from each other. It's billions of people on the world. It's enough to go around. That is an absolute lie. Everybody can be an entrepreneur. What you think Etsy.com is? A space of millions of entrepreneurs. What you think eBay is? A space of millions of entrepreneurs. What you think Fiverr.com and Upwork.com? Millions of entrepreneurs. What you think MyMentor.life is? Entrepreneurs. Entrepreneur don't just mean you don't work a regular job. You can work a regular job until you make enough to leave your job. But you got a gift that you need to expound upon. You got a gift you need to tap into. You got a gift you need to use. And that's what I want you to understand. So look, when I came up, I looked up and I'm like, man, Zig Ziglar ain't got no course. Jim Rohn didn't have no course. Brian Tracy didn't have a course. Then one day a guy showed me a membership site that I think was started by somebody like Brian Tracy or something like that. It was $35 a month. And it was like a mastermind type thing. I have that same thing today in the growth group. It's $47 a month because what I seen was 10 years ago, so inflation. And we growing. We growing each month. We do a Zoom call. They support each other. They talk to each other. They can ask each other questions. We on a group chat and we do monthly Zoom calls, $47 a month. When I got started, that did not exist. That did not exist.
I found about that probably 5, 6 years into being an entrepreneur, full-time entrepreneur. And so now I see Steve Harvey, now that he lost his main talk show, now he has an online course. I saw it on his Twitter the other day. And it's called something, and I went to it, and guess who running the page? Whoever running the page, they using some of my quotes and probably don't even know it. That they quoting me without attributing the quote to me and don't even know it. That's legacy. Even though my name ain't on it, I know that's my work. And now he got that. You know why he got that now? Because when that $100 million got cut off from that TV show, you got to be ingenuitive. It's probably his staff could have helped him come up with the idea, but they see people like me who don't get $100 million from TV. Because when you in TV, you in a loop. Because the producer's writing everything you're gonna say. But when you outside of that, your mind, you not on a loop, you got to create. Because if you don't, you eat what you kill. So if you're not going out to hunt, if you're not creating, you're gonna starve to death. When you don't have a check coming in on a regular basis because you doing something for somebody else, you got to do for yourself. So now I see, then later, probably a couple years ago, I seen Iyanla Vanzant come up with a course. Now, mind you, me and other full-time entrepreneurs, we had been having courses for ages, and then we seen the people with TV shows come out with a course because they start to realize, like, hey, this is something I can own. This is something that CBS, Discovery, NBC don't own. This is something I can own and use my gift to do this. And so the reason why I created Tony Gassler Academy is because when I was building my brand, I was like, man, give me the game. Give me the whole game. And nobody had a course. That's why I created TonyGasslerAcademy.com. So that anything I do, if you really want it, instead of just talking about it, you could be about it. And you could go get a course, you could get the knowledge, you could add your knowledge to it, and then you can make something happen. Just like that, point blank period. Just like that, point blank period. Hey, God bless you, I got to go. I got to coach here in 7 minutes. I'm stank. So I'm trying to get my little quick 2-second shower in real quick. Get this stank off of me. I ain't stank for real. God bless y'all. We'll talk soon.